Welcome to the Rutgers Jewish Film Festival, sponsored by the Alan and Joan Bildner Center for the Study of Jewish Life at Rutgers University. I'm Karen Small, director of the festival, and I look forward to seeing you very soon at the Regal Cinema in North Brunswick. Some of you may be watching films from home this year and participating with our Zoom interviews, like today. However you are joining us, I hope you enjoy watching movies that matter, documentaries, dramas, international films from around the world. Today, I am delighted that we are talking about the film Cinema Sabaya. We have a special guest at Rutgers this fall, Michal Aviad. Michal is an Israeli filmmaker, and we have invited her to interview the director of Cinema Sabaya. Let me just give a little bit more information about Michal. Her work explores ethnicity, class, gender, and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict from women's perspectives in her work. Her recent films include Working Woman, which won an Ophir Award, that's equivalent to the American Academy Awards, and Dimona Twist, which won Best Documentary Film at the Jerusalem Film Festival and was screened in our festival back in 2017. She's a professor at Tel Aviv University's Tisch School of Cinema and Television and was recently awarded the prestigious Landau Award for Arts and Sciences, which cited her as one of the most important directors in the history of Israeli cinema. We are delighted to welcome her as a visiting filmmaker here at the Bildner Center this fall. And now the director of Cinema Sabaya, Orit Fouks Rotem. She is she's a graduate of Jerusalem's Sam Spiegel School of Film and Television. She has taught filmmaking to groups of women in Acres and Givat Haviva, an experience that inspired the film Cinema Sabaya. She has also written and directed 2 short fiction films, You Remain Silent and Veil, which were screened at international festivals. Cinema Sabaya is her debut feature film, and I'm delighted to announce that it swept the Israeli Oscars this year with awards for Best Film and Best Director, among several others. It will be Israel's entry for Best International Feature Film at this year's Academy Awards. Welcome, Orit, and welcome, Michal. Look forward to hearing more about the film.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
So let's start. I love Orit's film. I love it especially because it's so rare. I love it for many reasons, but one of the reasons is it's so rare to see a film about this muddy Palestinian-Israeli conflict, or the muddy relationship between Jews and Arabs, and get out of the film with a sense of hope. And I think that Orit was able to do that. I'd like to ask Orit, to start with asking Orit a few questions about the making of the film. Orit, how did this idea come to you? And the idea of not only of making a film about relationship between women, Arab and Jewish women. I say Arab and Jewish because they're all citizens of Israel, all the people in the film. So it's not enough to say Israelis and Palestinians. They are Arab and Jews, citizens of Israel. How did this idea come to you? How did you go about it? And I'd love you to describe the process of researching and preparing for the film.
So thank you. The idea came to me from my mother. She is the Hadera mayor consultant for women's issues. And she participated in a group like the group in the film as a student, as one of those women. And it happened just when I finished film school and I was confused about what I want to do. And it gave me the idea for this platform of women that learn cinematic tools and can observe their life in a different angle through it. And I did a research myself for a few years. I made those kind of groups in Acres and Givat Haviva, and collected stories and ideas from women I met. Of course, everything is changed in the film. No one can recognize herself, but the ideas and the themes were from real life and from my experience. And so that's how I got the idea.
Did you need an Arab consultant to sort of help you understand the details of the different kinds of Arab societies that exist in Israel?
Yes, of course. I was very modest in my writing the Arab characters, because I knew that I don't know a lot. Unfortunately, not enough, and of course not the nuance. And the actors that played in participated in the film were very helpful and very generous with helping me with that. Also, the women I met in the groups, and I also consulted Israeli director now she's a politician, Ibtisam Rana, and a student from Bet Bell that helped me a lot.
Okay, so could you tell us about the process of writing and casting, and what came before what? Did you first write the roles, or did you first do the casting? I know that you worked with Daniel Meyer, who was the casting director. How did you go about this?
Yes, so it was in two stages. The first stage was, as you said, I worked with Emmanuel Meyer, and we looked for women with interesting stories, and we thought to cast only non-actors, but that was, it didn't prove itself to work, unfortunately. And we decided to look for women that are more close to what I wrote. I had characters that I wrote. I wanted to open everything and to look for other women, but then I decided to stay with the characters I wrote and to look for women that has some experience in acting, but and can be close somehow to the themes of the character they wrote. That mostly was the way, but for instance, Carmela, Liora Levy, who plays the character that lives in the yacht, her I added after Ayelet Menachemi that consulted to my script. She knew her because she did kayaking and with her, and she just told me, you have to put this woman into your film, and then I just wrote her after I met her. So, but mostly it was the characters that I created from my experience, but that was also one of the stories.
But somebody like Amal, she's a very well-known singer in the Palestinian Israeli world. You know, so you knew you had a character in your mind that would be a singer or a dancer or somebody who is in art, and then you met Amal and you decided that she'll be the singer, or how did it work?
Yeah, the character of Nasrin was a very strong woman, a lawyer that had a dream to sing. And the first name that everybody told me is Amal Murkus, and I met her, and it was immediately clear that she has to do it and nobody else. And yeah, so it was like written on her, but I didn't know her before, actually.
And
yeah,
but the fact that you met her, I'm just talking about her because I happen to know her, so it's easy for me, but I could talk about any of the characters. But you knew she would be, Amal is middle class, Amal is Christian, Amal comes from, you know, her father was the mayor of
Asif.
towns, yeah, Kfar Asif. So she comes from a totally bilingual home and education and so on. Did you know in the character that you were writing that you would seek such a woman who, she's a totally different class than the character of Suad, of course, right?
Yes, I didn't want it to be like a Cinderella story of someone that's dreamed to be a singer but work as something like work in cleaning or something like that. I wanted to change it felt to me a bit of cliche to use this kind of dream for this kind of woman. So I wanted her to be very successful, but dreams can be also for successful people in other ways. So
nice.
Yeah, I knew it from the beginning that she will be from the middle class, and yeah.
So that was just an example. So you met the women, you wrote, listen, people don't know here that you have to write a script, you have to get the money, for God's sake. You have to get the money, only then you can work. So,
yeah.
So you got the money with whatever you wrote, and then you did the casting and you changed some of the characters according to what you found?
Yes, luckily I had very good readers in the Israeli fund, and it's a matter of luck a lot, and they really understood what I want to do. So I was lucky with that thing, and I think they understood because I gave a trailer from my research. So the scene with the dreams, I did it for real with participants from my group. So they could tell that there is something in what I want to do. I gave them proofs.
Okay, I see. Okay, now let's go to the process of working with a cinematographer, with Itai Marom, who is a very good cinematographer. He is experienced. You chose him, and what did you know when you started working together? You start to work with a cinematographer before you start filming. So you are doing it in what we call pre-production. So what did you know that you were going to do? And then I'm sure everything changed, but you know.
Yeah, everything changed. Itai, he shot my graduation film and we are friends. The style of the film was supposed to be really different. We wanted to work with tripods and one camera, but when I started working with the women and starting exploring the visual language that I want to use by watching films like The Class of Laurent Cantet, if you know, and I tried to understand how he worked, and I understood that he worked with two cameras in order to keep it live and not to have to do a lot of takes, and also that it's handheld from the same reason. And we started by our plan, and in the second day, we felt that nothing's working and we are killing it. We're killing the moment. And Itai was very brave to go with me because I just told him and the other cinematographer, Maya Badi, you have to let go of the tripods and just go freestyle and feel it and do it like a documentary film. We also did the takes of like half an hour sometimes of improvising and on the text, and yeah, we learned it by doing it. It was only 12 days of shooting, which was crazy for me and very
everybody
scary.
for every film.
Yeah, but it worked because it was in one location, and yeah, something worked there with the flow, and we didn't need more actually. We understood it when we did it.
So you start the film, you have a written script already rewritten after you did the casting. You had rehearsals with the actresses?
Not a lot. The working with Dana Ivgi, with the character of Rona, was just What?
I'll get to her in a moment. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking
I am.
the eight participants.
About the other women, okay, because most of the work was with her, even though she's the most experienced actor in the film. With the other women, it was working on the character and getting to know them. So I know how to make the character as close to them as possible. We did 2 readings of all the script together with everybody, but we didn't want to do the scenes and to hurt the authenticity of the moment in the shooting. So we didn't really rehearse.
So then you allowed improvisations during filming?
Yes, a lot.
Some
Based on the text.
totally changed?
What?
Some of the stories totally changed?
Not totally, no. If I read now the script, it's very similar, but the words are different, and not the meaningful things stay the same, but all the small chit chat and everything that changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say the small idea of the old woman selling her cooking, maklube, her cooking at the beginning of the classes. This was an idea from the script?
Yeah, that was based on a true character in one of my groups that started selling food to the women very fast. And we even shot a commercial for her. She tried to make a business out of it. So yeah, that was that was in the script.
And now can we go, so basically you decided to shoot it like a documentary, even though did you have experience in documentary filmmaking?
A little bit. It's not my my expertise, but I did some documentaries in film school and after a short one, but no, it was a totally new thing for me, and working with 2 monitors was very confusing also. But in some day, I just decided to let go and not to be afraid. If I missed something, then I missed it. And we also discovered in the editing room that if things are off screen, it helps the authenticity. So, so yeah, it was something very how do you say, a try. We didn't know what will be, if it will work or not.
Yeah. Now let's go to the character of Rona, the instructor, who is a very experienced and experienced and very appreciated actress in Israel. I think it's a very difficult role for you, because on the one hand, it's so easy to make her somebody who sees everybody from above, because she's dealing with women who most of them are not as educated as she is. And she keeps, for some reason, she keeps her life sort of mysterious. We don't know exactly what her life is about. And at the end, in the middle, I felt maybe like the character of Nahed. I felt a little worried about her. What, she's going to now do this horrible thing and publicize their stories, which is one of the major issues discussed in documentary filmmaking from the invention of cinema. And she felt to me, maybe she's not, I felt like the characters, maybe she's going too far, maybe she's not responsible in opening them up like this. And then in spite of her flaws, you understand that you love her. And I wonder how you did all that maneuvering.
I'm happy that you felt this way. It was the character of Rona was a mystery. We had a whole background story for her that we just left out because we decided she's like it's not like she's a tool because she's a character, but her meaning in the film was her observing and what she sees. And I think when we identify with that, with her point of view, and we see the women in a loving perspective, then it goes on her as well. And yeah, I think Dana gave, she just understood she has to be herself, and she was very fascinated from the whole experience and the women. So she just listened and looked at them, and was like, yeah, it was like a POV of the film in a way. And I think that you understand also in the film that she's not going to do anything bad with it in the end, that she wanted to share something beautiful that she saw. There wasn't a moment that I thought that of this character as a really manipulative in a bad way. Her intentions are good.
Too innocent, or maybe she doesn't take all the perspectives in. I wasn't sure how responsible she was. I didn't think she was bad.
Yeah, I think so too. I think she went too far because she thought she has the ability to help, but it's a lot of times it's not all the time true, and she did things that hurt the women. But I think that Suad's coming back to the group is my way to say that still something good happened here, and something special happened between those women.
Yeah. I also think that you were able, or maybe you and Dana Ivgi, or you, Dana Ivgi, and Neta Dvorkis, the editor, were able to keep the character of Dana Ivgi, who is so familiar with Israeli audiences, a character of a woman who is modest and never steal the screen from others. And in that sense, I'm sure it has to do also with the character of Dana herself, of the woman. But I'm sure that, it was really tricky to do that because, we usually, we are used that stars are in the limelight. And here you sort of did it totally different. You didn't give her special lighting. You didn't give her special makeup or clothing, nothing. She had to do with what there was there, like everybody else. And that was, to me, a real success of the film.
Thank you. I think it's a part of her personality, really, because she didn't feel like different from every other woman in the set in any way. And she worked with me for months on the script. We just sat and read the script all over again and thought about options to do and to improvise. And she was, I all the time tell her that she's not just an actor, even that an actor is a really big thing. But for me, it was like working with a partner.
Yeah. And you told me briefly that something changed during, or maybe I didn't understand, something changed about her character, or her character changed at a certain point of working together? You decided?
Her character had a whole background story. We even shot a scene with her mother, her real mother, Lili Cheleg, in the house that they're talking, and we tried to make it real, but she didn't really talk about her real life, and it felt wrong for the film.
Yeah.
I wanted her to bring something to the group in the end, but it felt like the thing you have to do to make everybody happy, and I felt it's wrong because there is something not equal in the relationship between a director to the characters. And so, yeah, it was something that we were confused and not sure about. if she's the main character or not. And we understood that the group is the main character in the end.
We, you mean Netta and you? I mean the editor.
Yeah,
and you.
Netta and me, and also Dana. Yeah, but Netta, of course, in the editing, she understood really fast the how much space and how much room should be for this character of Rona. She also filmed the whole shooting. She was with camera, and in the beginning, I thought it should be a lot of the film through her eyes, but Netta understood quickly that it will be more powerful if there will be only 3 times that we see things from her camera. So yeah, and Netta also really, she edited it like she got footage of a documentary film, not of a fiction film.
Yeah, but you know, the amazing thing is that editors sometimes see much more than the director sees at a certain point, and that's why they exist.
Yeah, that's Netta for sure. From day one. Yeah. From the script, actually, she understood things that I had to shoot and to understand that we don't need them.
Yeah. It's common. It's really common. Next, in the film, the character of Dana, Rona, says when they ask her, she's asked what is her dream, she says, I want to make good films. I want to make important films. I want to make films that will influence people. And in some way, at that point, I think that she represents the director of the film, meaning Orit, you. And I wonder in what way did you, I don't want to go into like big issues because the thing is, I'm going now to thematic issues, okay? The thing is that we know that we live in this muddy conflict. We know that the relationship between Jews and Arabs, even if we don't deal with the occupation within Israel, are tense and have more flaws than virtues. At the same time, very often people work together and have relationship, but then the relationship they don't manifest themselves in changing political views. So you did 2 things. You got women who really don't know each other, who are Jews and Arabs, but also belong to the different ethnicities in Israel, including, you know, everything. Israel is a very ethnically separated country among Jews and ethnically separated country among Arabs. So the Jews and Arabs are only 2 groups, but within the Jews, there are a few groups that don't get along. And within the Arabs, there are a few groups that don't get along. So it's really complex. And you really tried to bring representatives from many of these ethnic groups. And finally, they find a common language by being women. Being women and being oppressed by patriarchy, by the society we live in. And as such, they have something in common, and they can really support each other and open up to each other. And I wonder if you think that women, what is the role of women in helping us see clarity through this muddy conflict? If you think that women have a role, and what else do you think about it? What do you think that is an important, influential film? I know it's a difficult question.
I think women in general are it's of course in general. I met women that are like this, and also men that. But in general, I think that some of their advantages are that they feel that they work with their feelings more and less ego maybe. Again, it's not it's not all the women, but I think that also what helps them to open up for each other is the power, the therapeutic power of cinema, which I believe all the time I get the question, if it was a group of men, do you think it would happen the same? I don't know how to answer this question, because I think it's really it depends of who are the men and who are the women, and but in general speaking, yeah, I think that women listen more and act less from ego and from yeah. But I did this movie on women because I'm a woman, and I want to deal with things that are interesting for me and that I know, and that there are not enough. I believe I feel that it's not enough. There is not enough women characters in films and in Israel films that get enough deep depth, and mostly are seen from eyes of men. Which is a problem. Not all that, not in all cases, but a lot.
I'm with you. So I'm totally with you. I really think that it's important that we women make films and with women characters in them. But okay, so women is one thing. Another thing, there are two other things there. One is the therapeutic power of a group.
Of a group, yeah.
Dynamic. And the third thing is the therapeutic power of personal cinema. So there are some things here that are at work, and in the back, which you are smart enough to bring it only once, there is this horrible conflict that we live in. So you actually take you juggle a few things together and deal with a few things, because groups have a therapeutic power. We know Alcoholics Anonymous, we know many other group dynamics that don't have cinema. We know that cinema has, I don't know if we know, you and I believe that cinema has therapeutic power. And then you decide to do all this. You could do it with women who are mothers of teenagers, but you decided to do it with women who are Jews and Arabs, and all of them are related to the municipality, so there aren't any like ultra rich or ultra poor people. And you wanted to do something, you wanted to tell us something about this conflict, I believe. So what is it? Do you think that if we learn how to see each other and talk to each other, maybe we can move on?
That's for sure, I believe. And also I believe that the middle is for me, it's it's the thing that interests me the most, because I feel people like movies on exotic things, like very poor and very that you can look you can feel better with yourself in a way, and for me this medium is fascinating, because I feel the power is there, and the gray area are the most interesting things to deal with, I think, to understand the reality, because it's complicated. It's not so clear, and Yeah, in Hebrew, I feel I can explain myself better, but I think you understood what I mean.
Yes, I understand. I hope I understand. I hope the other people understand. You know, you and I can chat in Hebrew easily, and but that everybody will understand us. Anyway, I'd like to finish, and I wonder if Karen has anything to say, or first of all, maybe Orit, you want to say something that I didn't ask, and you feel like you want to talk about. We have a few more minutes.
I think the character of Joanna, Suad, it's a very special character for me, and also the woman that never acted in a film in her life. I think this film really changed something deep inside of her, and for me, it was it's one of the best reasons to make this film, to see how therapeutic and how meaningful it can be, even to play a role of someone else, because it really was something meaningful in her life and the life of all the participants. It was a very special thing for all of them. And yeah, I really hope that it will get a lot of exposure and that people will see it. So
she, by the way, for people who don't know, she received
she won.
She won secondary actress in this year's Academy Award, Israeli Academy Award competition, and it was great. She won. It was really great.
Was that Best Supporting Actress?
Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah, Best Supporting Actress. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. You know, I a few times I wanted to jump in, but you guys had such a great flow. I think it's so helpful to understand the film by hearing about the camera work and to hear you talk about that it was documentary style with the handheld camera moving rather than the tripod. Because I know for me, watching the film, you a few times, it's like, wait, is this a documentary? You forget while you're watching it that it's a scripted narrative film, but it really feels like a documentary film. So I think that was really helpful, Orit, to hear about that decision that was made to change the camera work and to really give it that authentic feeling. I think that was helpful for me, and I think for our audience also, because it really did have that feeling. The other thing, you know, Michal, I'm so glad you asked about and talked about the group experience and the power of film in the group experience. And I was thinking about that because they could film their home life and show it, they didn't have to say it. And it was a whole other voice in the group, right? The filming of it. And I'm just thinking about people who run groups might be a technique they want to think about to have people film each other or film in a different way. How much
there is a video therapy.
Yeah,
it's
a profession.
Well, I don't know. They might want to watch the film, right? We might need to promote it.
Everybody should watch it.
Everyone should watch it. It was really just, you know, such a rich, deep film and way to look at women's lives, and such a multi-ethnic group of women, age differences, backgrounds, and they were able to come together in this very meaningful way. And I think learning about that some of them were not actors, many of them were not actors, and helped create the story and help create the script makes it so much more meaningful for all of us as an audience, and me too. Orit, any last words? I know you're coming to New York. You just told me that a little while ago. So perhaps if people want to tell their friends, the film will have be available much beyond the Rutgers Jewish Film Festival. Do you know yet about the future screenings?
There will be a screening also in Other Israel in the 6th of November. And hopefully in more, we're trying to work on more screening these days.
So
but I still don't know.
Okay, so stay tuned. As we get more information, we'll let you know, because the film is now on the Oscar path. There'll be more screenings available. So that is November 6th at the Other Israel Film Festival at the JCC in Manhattan. And I'm sure there'll be more. Well, thank you both very much for joining us today. It was a fascinating discussion. We really appreciate your time. And good luck with the film, Orit.